So we finished up fit school. I started fit camp, went to fit school. I don't know why I look so red. Maybe I'm so cheerful and jolly. It's probably because I'm exhausted. That's the real answer. So we're finishing up fit school. Where I went afterwards, which again, the fit school thing, I'll come up with some more stories. It's just so much farther back in my memory because I was 15, 16, 17 at the time, and I'm 33 now. So it's like, whoa, man, you were a child. My second trip out, I remember a lot more bits and pieces. But after I came back, I went back to Kingsmont as I was like a setup assistant for the guy who handled all the recreational activities, as far as people basically like an equipment manager. We would set up the soccer fields and football fields and things like that in the beginning of the days. Make sure all the equipment was out there for the kids to use, because obviously this was a group with hundreds of campers and multiple soccer fields, football fields, basketball courts. Just making sure everything was out there that they needed to use for the day, and then picking it up at the end of the night. And any special events we would set up things for. So I did that. Great guy. I'm gonna forget his name. It began with an M. He was from Australia. So it's where I picked up like the cheers instead of saying thank you and things like that, or you're welcome. Which I think is fantastic. Count those, Jenny. I'm sorry, they're coming out like left and right as my brain is racking for memories. Maddie was his name. I knew I would get it. Let's go. So, me and Maddie we were riding the Red Rocket, is what this truck was called. This absolute beat up little like S10 pickup truck. And we would use that to bring all the equipment in and out. But I was spending lots of time in between, because obviously, it was like, we'd set up for an hour, pick up for an hour, and in between we're just kind of left to our own devices. So I would kind of follow around the Divisional 1. Div 1, they did the kids in age groups. Div 1 was the oldest boys, Div 2 was the middle, Div 3 was the younger ones. Same thing for the girls. So I hung around with the Div 1 boys because some of the campers were actually campers I went to camp with the summer before. And obviously I was back now as this like nice, slimmer, newer version of myself. And it was cool to kind of share that story and tell people about it. And so that was fun. Kind of became like a motivational symbol in a sense. But I also just started to connect a lot with these boys. And so much so that the director of the camp kind of recognized that and actually then made me a counselor for that division. I want to say this was maybe only 2 weeks into the summer. So I actually ended up moving out of the dorm I was in to move in with the rest of the Div 1 boys and became a counselor for that group for the rest of the summer, which honestly for me it was more of what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a part of just the daily activities and getting to know these kids better and helping them out. And it was phenomenal. That first summer for me, especially I was like the ripe age of 19. It was very eye-opening. It was something I'm going to remember forever. The letters I got from parents at the end of the summers from kids, kids telling me that the summer was the best thing that ever happened to them. It changed their lives forever. They'll never forget it. And it was so cool that I was able to make an impact like I did. And again, I don't feel like I did anything extraordinary. I'm not trying to sit here and call myself some modern day hero, because I'm not. I'm just a guy. But I've always been able to understand and connect with kids on a better level than most. And part of me, I joke, it's because I'm still a child at heart. Like, I'm a big kid. I've never grown up and I never will. But I was able to, put my foot down when I needed to, and they listened to me because of that. I got their respect, and we were able to really push through that summer and made a lot of process for a lot of these young boys. And it was special. It really was. So much so that I ended up going back in a couple years. Talk about that again. I did 3 summers in total, but it was such a roller coaster of a summer. Like, they have a Color Wars at the end that I ended up getting nominated, which it's usually like the best counselors that are there get to be captains of the color war teams, and I got to be the captain of the blue squad, and we ended up winning the color war, and it was just it was honestly the best summer of my life. And it was the best way to come home from spending this wild 6 months out in California to this, Massachusetts college campus, and just play and have fun, and be able to be a part of people's lives that hopefully they're hopefully their memories forever for those guys as well. So there's always tomorrow, guys. Hop to it. Give somebody you love a hug. Say some nice things to a stranger. I'll see you there.